in the morning, we're better be together.
Defected for me, it was what I grew up with, and a lot of the people that work at the record label have been friends for a long time. My manager was working at the label for many years as A&R. Defected for me is, it's a community. To be back on the label after all this time, under a different alias as well, it is very full circle for me. Not only the way this record sounds, but the label that it's released on with Defected, everything's just kind of taking it back home for me. My sound has changed very much since my debut release as Jonas Blue. I think I've been able to kind of explore a lot of different genres throughout my career. I just feel I'm at a point now where I just want to fuse everything together in a way that just feels kind of fresh and unique, but kind of not too far away from home for me. I think where I'm at sonically now is just kind of a mixture of just everything that I've done from the past. I knew I wanted to make a really kind of different record for the summer, and that would kind of be almost like the launch for my new sound of where I wanted to take, not only the music that I'm releasing, but also my DJ sets as well. I kind of had this idea from last summer that I wanted to release something for this summer that just felt like a mixture of all my influences, but felt like something fresh that people hadn't heard from me before. That coincided with the move to Miami. The actual session for Edge of Desire started, it was actually my last session that I did in the UK before I left to go to Miami. So it's quite special that I was getting on the plane knowing that I had this amazing song, and finishing it off in Miami really kind of tied it all together. It just kind of came from just wanting to make a very different sounding record this summer. Maliv was someone that I had discovered last year. A friend of mine sent me an Adam Port mix on YouTube that I think was in New York, and I think it's the first track on this mix, first or second track of this mix, was this incredible song called Quintal from this guy Maliv, and I had no idea who he was, and at this point I had the idea for doing Edge of Desire, and I was looking for a collaborator that I could do it with for it to make sense. I was just listening to this DJ mix from Adam Port, and I reached out to Maliv on Instagram and said, hey, I've got this song that I think could be cool, maybe if we join forces and brought both of our sounds together. And yeah, luckily he was totally on board. I sent him the song instantly, and we just got working on it straight away. And it just all kind of fell into place. It was just being a fan of his. I heard this song of his, heard how we could maybe do something together, and yeah, the rest is history with this song. We just did it very quick and just a lot of love. Jazz and Groove remix of Edge of Desire, that's a special one for me. I think this record as a whole has been a very full circle moment for me. So much so that Jazz and Groove, who are one of the remixers on this record, two guys made up of Brian Tappert and Mark Pomeroy. I've known these guys since I started in music. At the age of 12, 13, I was weekly speaking to Brian Tappert back then, who was an amazing inspiration to me. He always gave me a lot of advice of how to get in the industry and where to go with the music, and teach me technical things in the studio. But he, like I said, he was based in the US, I was in the UK, but we'd always had that friendship, and I just, in my mind, I was like, at some point, I would love to get these two guys to do a remix of my record to, make it that kind of full circle moment. Plus, Jazz and Groove in their own right back in the day were amazing producers. So many different aliases that they went under as well, and created so much amazing music. So for me, to have a record like Edge of Desire and then to have them remix it, it was like a real full circle moment for me. I'm very, very happy about that, and I'm going to be playing it for the first time tonight in my set at Playa Soleil and the Defected mix. There's so many people making music these days, and so much great music as well, and it's to be all these years into my career and still being able to make records which have an impact on the world means a lot to me. But it just comes from playing out most weekends and seeing different crowds around the world, and going out as a clubber and discovering new artists and hearing DJ sets. I'm just always open to, oh wow, this could work on maybe one of my records, or maybe we could just take it in this direction. So I'm always open to exploring new sounds, and I think that's what allows me to kind of still, you know, have impact with these records and you know, them touch people in a certain way. I definitely felt like a lot of the earlier part of my career, I just rushed a lot of it. I think really taking in all those moments and how beautiful they were, you know, learning, you know, the music programs that I work on, exploring different sounds. I kind of rushed a lot of that. And you know, even when I was touring as well, to most recently, you take a lot of it for granted. So the one lesson I try and learn from a lot of it now is just to really enjoy these moments, especially what's happening with the single, with Edge of Desires, to really, you know, embrace the moment, take it in, because it's an amazing thing that's happening, and you just got to try and soak in those moments and not rush them. So that would be my lesson to myself. There was definitely one moment for me during COVID where I think a lot of us all had a wobble and things like that, but I got an amazing piece of advice from Calvin Harris, which was to have your finger on the pulse and keep an eye open for what's happening and what cultures are moving and what sounds are coming in, and just really, you know, have your finger on the pulse. So that was one bit of advice that he gave me. And again, with this record, it's like it was all done out of love and just by being in the clubs and seeing what was happening, and you know, just being true to yourself as well. So those were kind of pieces of advice that I was able to get from Calvin Harris, and yeah, stuck with me and definitely got me into this era.